Hello and good evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Joe Lavers and I am the Senior Business Development Manager for Wendy Tours. And I'm going to present to you tonight on Japan. Should take about half an hour. And I'm doing this on behalf of Baldwin's Travel, who I have worked with for many, many years, over my 25 years in the travel industry. And Baldwin's, as I'm sure you're aware, are a family-owned independent travel agency established in 1895. The ABTA, Atoll and IATA bonded, so you can book with them with confidence, as you can with via them Wendy Tours. And just like Wendy, they have also won a huge number of travel industry awards, including winners of the National Travel Agency of the Year 2019, and winners of the Travel Agent of the Year for London and the South East for the last 13 consecutive years. So from our perspective, Baldwin's have a great name, a great reputation in the travel industry. They're very professional and we really enjoy working with them. We share a lot of very, very similar traits with regards to our standing within the travel industry. So what I'm going to do this evening is just walk you through some of our tours, including our most popular, some of our brand new tours for Japan, giving you some insight along the way, some tips as well, and basically telling you why Wendy Tours are such good at what we do. So I'd just like to start by just giving you an overview of our destinations. So obviously this webinar this evening is all about Japan. However, we also feature China and all across Southeast Asia. From Southeast Asia, we visit Myanmar, Laos, Indonesia, but our most popular destination is by far Vietnam and Cambodia. With regards to China and Japan, nobody sends more people away to both of those destinations from the UK on escorted tours than we do. So we really are market leaders with regards to those destinations particularly. And we have a brand new brochure with our Central Asia and Middle East. So we've always done Central Asia, including the 5 stands as they're known, all across the Silk Road, Mongolia. And also we now have added the Middle East. So we have tours of Israel, Jordan, Oman, and Egypt as well. India is a very successful program for us as well, with also tours of Bhutan and Sri Lanka. And within our Latin America program, our brand new exciting addition to that program is our expedition cruises in conjunction with Quark of Antarctica. So why book with Wendy Tours? Well, like I said, we've got a lot in common with Baldwin's. We've got an excellent reputation within the industry, and we have won a huge amount of awards, not just from the travel industry for being top tour operator, but also from publications such as Condé Nast Traveler, The Times, just a couple of examples. We've got 5-star TripAdvisor rating, gold trusted service on FIFO. We have the best guides in the business, but I'll talk about those a bit later. And if you do need a visa for any of the destinations that we travel to as a UK or European passport holder, then we have our own visa department service to work with Baldwin's to help you through that process. And that's also included in the price, although you don't need a visa for Japan. Most of the clients who travel with us travel on our classic tours, which are our fully inclusive packages. So the pricing and the quote that you'll get from Baldwin's includes your flights, predominantly 4-star accommodation, all of your guiding, all of your experiences, and nobody includes more experiences or of such a high quality than we do, plus all of your meals. And we take you to some really, really fantastic restaurants, and you will have some amazing, amazing food. Coupled with all this, we have a 97% customer satisfaction ratio, which is why we're the UK's #1 Asia tour operator. But of course, we do have to touch on our current situations with regards to coronavirus, and the safety and well-being of our customers is a prime concern. One of the beauties of escorted touring is that wherever you are with us, you have a national guide who is with you from start to finish. They know what's going on the ground. If we need to move you around or get you away from somewhere, we can do that. And we keep our advice updated on a regular basis. But we have really put in some pioneering COVID safe protocols. And I'm just going to touch on a few for you, hopefully make you feel confident about traveling during these times. On guides and national escorts, they will conduct a full health and safety briefing before a tour begins. They also will carry supplies of face masks and also hand sanitizer. They'll ensure that everyone adheres to social distancing, hygiene practices and local regulations as well. And should anybody fall ill on one of our trips, then we will ensure the individual receives swift medical attention and will only be able to return to the group once allowed to do so. On our transportation and during the sightseeing, so only front-facing microphones will be used on the vehicles, headsets or speaker systems will be used while sightseeing. Guides will also be able to assess the situation on the ground, avoiding large crowds where possible, but vehicles will be thoroughly cleaned, disinfected after each excursion service, overnight and in between different groups. And there's plenty of spacing on our tour seats as well with regards to our transportation. We've always done this where we have 1.5 seats, but there will be at least that between you and your fellow tourers. And of course, as I said earlier, hand sanitizer available. Accommodation and dining, we've always been very, very strong on vetting these. We know the accommodation that we use very, very well. We also know the restaurants we use very, very well. And all of those have been researched, inspected, and they will also follow the strictest health, cleanliness and safety guidelines as well. And Asia is back at the moment. Internal tourism is starting to move and is at an all-time high since the outbreak of COVID. Lots of attractions are opening up, ready for us to start traveling again. And Japan has already issued some statements saying that they hope to be open for the early part of next year, mainly due to they want to be up and running for the Summer Olympics, of course. So let's actually talk about Japan and get onto the exciting stuff. So we've got a huge range of tours. 11 of them are classic tours, so they include everything, and 2 are Go Beyond tours. Now, our Go Beyond tours, I will discuss them a bit later. They're really about getting off the beaten track, smaller group size, a little bit more adventurous, can be a little bit more physically demanding in certain tours. We also have tours of Taiwan and South Korea as well, and we can also add those destinations on as extensions, which a lot of people are actually doing whilst they're over in that part of the world. And of course, you can do plenty of stopovers as well on your way to the destination or on your way back. The tours range from 8 to 21 days, and we have on sale right the way through to virtually the end of 2022. So right up to the end of November 2022. We've also got some dedicated solo tours and 2 brand new tours. And we always look at our itineraries and we're constantly looking at how we can improve them, listening to our customers. We do a lot of customer feedback surveys, a lot of feedback from them on the ground. And so that's why you get such a fantastic tour, because we never rest on our laurels. We always want to deliver the best experience for our clients. Time of year to travel. So, of course, cherry blossom is an incredibly popular time to go. It's the last week in March, first 2 weeks in April. And it is a fantastic time to visit Japan, but it is one of the busier times. So if that is not on one of your top reasons to go to Japan, then I would suggest going later in the spring. And May is particularly good. You can see this pink mox floss that comes out in the foothills of Mount Fuji. And in May, they have various festivals to celebrate this called the Shizabukuro Festival. So lots of activities around that period of time. And then into the autumn months with the autumn colors, so September, October, November, absolutely stunning. And we do have a tour that does actually travel in the winter up to the northernmost island of Hokkaido for the Snow Festival. And that's one of our Go Beyond tours. But generally, you're really looking at spring and the autumn as being the optimum times to go to Japan, because in the summer months it can be a little bit hot, humid and sticky. But really it's not just about seeing the sights, it's about what you actually do when you're on a Wendy Wu tour. And a lot of our immersive experiences to really get you involved in the culture. Every single group tour that we do of Japan, you will have a Japanese tea ceremony, which is performed by a tea master, and they will show you the way of tea. And this is a really fantastic experience. So you'll witness and understand the preparation and the tradition, and get involved yourself a little bit as well in mixing up some of the green tea. I personally didn't like the tea, but I did really enjoy the whole experience of being involved and being able to talk to the tea master. And one of our Go Beyond tours is called Offbeat Japan. And one of the special cultural encounters here is to actually hike through the beautiful nature at the base of Mount Fuji. And also on that Offbeat Japan tour, you get the opportunity to stay in a monastery in the holy mountain of Koyasan, rising early and joining the monks for their daily dawn chanting. So that's a fantastic experience. And then we have experiences with regards to making things and understanding how traditions have developed over the years. So the washi paper making, learn about the traditional process of making this Japanese paper and then actually getting your hands a little bit dirty and making your own. You'll have fantastic food, but here's an opportunity to make some of your own as well with the soba noodle making. But we also have lots of opportunities to do lots of tastings. So miso tastings, sake tastings are just a couple. And sumo wrestling. If you go on our Japan Uncovered tour or our Offbeat Japan in May or September, that's when the sumo wrestling tournament season is, and you'll have tickets and we will take you to this amazing, amazing spectacle. And it really is incredible. The excitement that the Japanese have about watching sumo wrestling, it really is a massive, massive occasion. And they treat these guys like premiership footballers. So never, never to be missed if you get that opportunity. And getting tickets is quite difficult, but that's all included on those tours at that time. Or you may want something a little bit calmer. And in Kyoto, we'll take you, and this is on our Japan by Rail tour, just as an example. We'll teach you the basics of Zen meditation in Kyoto. So a chance to find your inner peace. So I mentioned our solo travelers earlier, and we now have 4 tours that have dedicated departure dates for solo travelers. They have a slightly smaller group size of 18. The maximum on our Japan is 24 on our classic tour, but these are slightly smaller group size, a dedicated departure date, so everyone will be a solo traveler. And from a price point, it will be slightly cheaper than going on a normal tour and paying a single supplement. But we will also throw in some added extras, which you can see on the screen now. So VIP private transfers to the airport, covering the first 50 miles, a free airport lounge, of course, your own double room, single occupancy, welcome drinks reception, and lots of other added benefits as well. So these solo tours, we have 1 date for each of them in 2021. And 2 dates in 2022. And if they prove to be popular, then we will be increasing this program. So we have a week in Japan, we have our Jewels of Japan tour, our Discover Japan, and then finally, our most popular tour, Japan Uncovered. This is the tour I'm going to walk through, and then I'm going to mention a few other tours to give you a flavor of what you can do across the 3 main islands in Japan. So there is something like 6,000 plus islands in Japan, but 97% of the population live on the main 3. And the Japan Uncovered is our most extensive tour of the main island of Honshu, which you can see there. You have Kyushu in the south, and then you have Hokkaido up in the north. And it includes all of the classic sites, all of the key cultural activities, the modern cities, historical sites, the beautiful landscapes. Really, really is a great tour that ensures you get the most out of your trip. And we've been absolutely blown away with how successful this tour has been since we launched it. The first departures in 2019. We only had 2 departure dates on sale in the brochure when we launched it, and they sold out so quickly. We ended up doing 25 dates in 2019 alone. We've got 40 in place for 2021 and beyond. So you will start in Osaka on this tour, and it's a great place, Osaka. It's got fantastic, fantastic street food. They have it's like a giant savory cabbage pancake called okonomiyaki, which is fantastic. And then they also have a takoyaki, which is a pancake batter cooked in special molds from this particular area, filled with pickled ginger and sometimes diced octopus, spring onion, but really amazing food, particularly in Osaka. But here you can see one of Japan's most famous castles. It's known for its fantastic views of the city from its hilltop perch, and it was constructed in the 1500s by the then emperor. And what's great about Osaka as a start to your tour is that we spend a few nights here and we take you on day trips. So it's a really nice way to start your tour. So we'll take you to Nara, where you get the opportunity to wander around the famous deer park and meet these sacred animals. They're actually very carefully protected as natural monuments, and they were considered to be a sacred messenger animal of the gods. And up until 1637, if you killed a deer, that was actually punishable by death. But what's fantastic about these deer is they're used to humans. They will come right up to you and they will bow in front of you. Now, the idea that they're bowing is for you to actually give them one of the biscuits you can buy from a local vendor. They're particularly made for the deer. And you'll find some people will do that, and that's great, and others will actually tease the deer. So if you tease the deer once it's bowed in front of you, if it doesn't get its treat that it's being promised, then it will probably give you a little nudge with its head. But they're not too dangerous at all by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just quite a nice fun thing to see and do. And then you'll visit Himeji Castle on our way to Hiroshima. Now, this is widely considered to be Japan's most magnificent castle, not just because of its size and its beauty, but because how well preserved it is. It's a National and World Heritage listed treasure. And the reason it's so well preserved is quite uniquely, it's never had any natural disasters, so no earthquakes or fires, and it's also not been involved in any conflict. So none of it has been attacked or destroyed by any form of war. And its nickname is the White Heron Castle because it resembles that bird. And from something very well preserved, we come down to Hiroshima, which is now a modern city because it's been rebuilt. But of course, it was destroyed by the atomic bomb dropped on the 6th of August, 1945, which destroyed nearly everything within a 2-kilometer radius. It immediately killed over 80,000 people, and tens of thousands more would die of radiation exposure afterwards. But the city has actually been rebuilt, and it's created a melting pot, and it's very cosmopolitan now. And those sites of historical heritage that were destroyed by the atomic bomb have been reconstructed. However, the only building that remains from that day is the A dome that you can see here on screen. And this is where you'll visit Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, which commemorates that terrible 1945 event. Then you'll go to Mirajima, known as Shrine Island. And its main attraction here is the giant torii gate, which at high tide, as you can see, it seems to float on the water. Now, you'll see a lot of torii gates in Japan, and they're actually a spiritual entrance gate to a Japanese Shinto shrine. So they mark the official boundary between the human and the spiritual worlds. And this, again, is another one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites and one of the national treasures that's designated by the Japanese government, which you will see a lot of when you travel with Wendy Woo Tours. While we're talking of traveling, we will be taking the bullet train from Hiroshima up to Kyoto, which takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now, just like everything in Japan, everything runs on time, everything is spotlessly clean. The people are so polite and so friendly. but traveling on these bullet trains is amazing. They generally run at about 200 miles per hour. That's with passengers on board, but without passengers, they've actually done test runs up to 275. They're also building a network of maglev trains, which will levitate above the actual rail track with two opposing magnets. And they will actually travel up to 375 miles per hour. And they're hoping to have a network to be fully operational across the country by 2030. So by the time we've built HS2, it will be well out of date as far as Japan is concerned, because they've had bullet trains since 1964. And your luggage, is not that much room on here for taking lots and lots of luggage. So what happens is you'll put your luggage in our transportation. We will take that to your next destination. You will have a little handbag, hand luggage, take it onto the train with you, and then your luggage will arrive, your main luggage will arrive in your hotel later that evening. So Kyoto, and this is my favorite part of Japan that I visited. It's the ancient capital from 794 to 1868 when Tokyo became the capital. And for me, it's really it's like Japan in a nutshell, if you like. It's the epitome of traditional Japan. It's got a cultural and historical heart of the country. For me, it's the best place for the traditional temples, the shrines, the gardens, geishas, the shops, the restaurants, amazing festivals. And this picture here is of the Gion area, which is where the geishas will be seen wandering the streets in their dresses. There was, at one point in time, probably in the early 1900s, about 80,000 geishas across Japan. There's now about 1,000, with 100 of them being in Kyoto. And it's here where you'll have that traditional tea ceremony I was telling you about earlier. We'll also trek up or walk up the 233 meters high of Mount Inari, where we will then visit the shrine that was built to worship the god of rice and visit the Fushimi Inari shrine. Now, over time, this has been translated, instead of being the god of rice, into the god of business. And each individual torii gate that you see here is donated by local businesses. So I don't know what they're advertising, but it is a lovely, stunning walk through here as you go up to the shrine. And then we'll spend some time also at the Golden Pavilion, which is originally the temple was built as a retirement villa for the shogun, and that was in 1408. But now it was then changed into a Buddhist temple. And what's absolutely amazing about this place is the grounds around it, the lovely lake that it sits on. The top two layers are completely covered in gold leaf, but the Japanese gardens around here and the little shrines everywhere, it's a fantastic way to spend a couple of hours. And guide will take you in, will take you to the Golden Pavilion, will tell you about the Golden Pavilion, and then you've got time to wander freely on your own. And it really is absolutely fantastic way to spend an afternoon. And then on to Kanazawa. So this is often compared to Kyoto, but it's a lot smaller than the ancient capital, but it's really known for its impeccable geisha and samurai districts. So you'll learn a lot about the samurai here, and again, see some amazing Japanese gardens in the grounds of the castle. We then move further into the mountains to Takayama. So this is a fantastic town that's nestled deep within the stunning Hida Mountains. And it really gives you the old and ancient side of Japan, and is absolutely stunning. And you'll visit where you can see this unusual architectural style known as gasso. It's actually gasso sakuri, which means constructed like hands in prayer. So these farmhouses have got these steep thatch roofs, and the idea is that they resemble the hands of Buddhist monks pressed together in prayer. But this architecture also has a practical point of view, in the fact that it's designed to withstand the large amounts of snowfall that they get during the winter. And the roofs are made without any nails at all, and they also provide a large attic space, which the Japanese use to cultivate silkworms. And then, sorry, excuse me. And then we go up and see the snow monkeys just outside of Yudanaka. And here you'll get to see these Japanese macaques at Monkey Park, and you get the unique experience of seeing these wild monkeys bathing in a natural hot spring. And what's quite interesting is there are no other non-human primate that is more northern living nor lives in a colder climate than these Japanese macaques. And we can't just leave all the fun to the monkeys. So you'll also have the opportunity to bathe yourself in the hot springs in an onsen bath experience in Yadanaka. And this time without any of the snow monkeys, of course. So an onsen's a Japanese hot spring, but the term also extends to cover the bathing facilities and the traditional inns frequently situated around a hot spring. And again, I've done this experience and it is absolutely fabulous. As is Mount Fuji. It really is Japan's iconic symbol of the country, just over 3,700 meters high. It's the largest mountain, highest mountain in Japan. And we'll make our way up to the 5th of the 10 stations where you'll get amazing views of the summit as well as across the country. And then we'll visit Fuji 5 Lakes as well in the Hakone district, where we'll take a short cruise along Lake Ashi to the Hakone Ropeway, which is a cable car which will take you up to give you these spectacular views of Mount Fuji across the valley, just as you can see in front of you here. And then we visit the madness of Tokyo. Of course, we know it's one of the world's most cutting-edge capital cities. But it's still actually also not just about the neon-lit landscapes and the towering skyscrapers, but it is a real city of contrasts. You don't have to walk far from these busy areas to come across peaceful shrines, loving tending gardens, and just from the Shiburu district, which I'm sure you'll be very familiar with, this very famous crossing that up to 2,000 people can cross at any one point in time during rush hour, is Yogi Park, which is absolutely stunning with a large lake in the middle, and people go and do Tai Chi there, play checkers, read a book, absolutely beautiful. And there's some things that you will see, lots of the strange cafes that we think are strange anyway. So there's the cat cafes, dog cafes, but I saw a hedgehog cafe when I was there, an owl cafe, so you could go in, have a coffee and pet these creatures. And you will see vending machines everywhere, vending everything from hot soups, ramen soups, coffee, alcohol, shirts, bags, all manner of things. And there's one that even looks like you can drive a smart car away. You can't, it's just you put your credit card in and get a catalogue, but it does look like you could actually buy and drive off a smart car from a vending machine. They say that there's one for every 23 people in Japan, sorry. And if you lined them all up, they stretch all the way from Tokyo to Hawaii. You'll also get to visit the Asakusa district. And this is a lovely, again, place to spend some time and see Tokyo's oldest temple. And Sensoji is the only example of two religions sharing the same temple complex. As you can see, a Buddhist temple on the right of the picture, and there is a Shinto shrine on the left. And then from this ancient tradition to much more modern again, with the 634-meter high sky tree, the tallest structure in Japan, the tallest tower in the world. And from here, the observation deck, you get some amazing views over the whole of this amazing, incredible city. So that, in a nutshell, is our Japan Uncovered tour. It is our most popular tour. And I just want to touch on a few other tours that will touch on the other islands. If you can't do a 17-day tour of Japan, doing Japan Uncovered, then we've lots of shorter tours because everything is always about time and budget. And one of the new ones is this Experience Japan. Lots of experiences involved in this particular tour, and you're still getting to see a lot of the main sites on the main island. But some of the experiences include fan making, for example, origami, the tea ceremonies, of course, miso tasting, sake tasting, and actually going through the bamboo forest as well. And other sites that you will see, the historic Matsumoto Castle, which is also known as Crow Castle due to the intense black exterior. And this is a magnificent example of 16th century Japanese architecture. As I said, enjoy the sake tasting, but then also we'll take you to Kamakura, where you'll see the Grand Buddha. which is the second largest bronze Buddha in Japan. And for those of you that want to see even more, we now have a brand new 21-day Japan by rail tour. And this is truly fabulous because you're getting all of those major sites on the main island of Honshu, but also the fantastic Kyushu in the south, and also the Hokkaido up in the north. So I'm not going to go through this tour as such, because I've already covered the main points on the main island. I'm going to use a couple of other tours to tell you a little bit about Kyushu and Hokkaido. But for this tour here, 10 train journeys involved, 5 of which are bullet trains. The others are their first class network trains. Lots and lots of experiences. And again, lots of tastings, miso, sake, whiskey, beer, visit a wasabi farm, get involved in sushi making. So really, really stunning tour, covering 2,000 kilometers in that great form of travel, the train. So we have a tour called Japan and the Scenic South, and I'm just going to pick up on the southern elements of this on the island of Kyushu. So you have Fukuoka, which is the capital, the largest city on this island, and it's known for its ancient temples. It's got some amazing beaches and also modern shopping centers. It's actually closer to Seoul in South Korea than it is to Tokyo. So it's always been a really important harbor city for many, many, many centuries. And then on to Kumamoto. Now this city is on Kyushu's west coast, and it's most famous for its castle, and the city is also the gateway to the Aso region, where you have Mount Aso. So Aso's an active volcano, sits in the center of Kyushu Island, and the crater is one of the world's largest. Its circumference is over 100 kilometers, not 1,000, 100 kilometers. And also there's a number of other peaks around it as well. And Beppu is one of Japan's most famous hot spring resorts. So you can also experience the hells of Beppu, which are several spectacular hot springs, but those springs are actually just for viewing rather than bathing in. And we have another tour, Journey Through Japan, which starts on the main island, and you work your way up and you reach Hokkaido up in the north. So just a couple of elements about Hokkaido. The capital city is Sapporo, and Sapporo is really known as a winter wonderland because it was introduced to the world during the Winter Olympics of 1972. It's also one of the nation's youngest major cities, and it's famous for the snow festival that's held here each year, which we have a Go Beyond tour for, which is our Sapporo and the Snow Monkeys. And then you have Atoro, and this is a city, it's a harbour city northwest of Sapporo with these beautifully preserved canals, which give the city centre a real character. It's much more reminiscent of past decades, if you like. And you still get to go to Hell Valley here, the volcanic crater of Hell Valley, where you'll see the steam jets and hot springs before taking a train to the harbour city of Hakodate. And here you'll see the fantastic mighty Mount Hakodate, but also ascend the Goryo Kaku Tower for views of the famous star-shaped fort that you can see in that image there. And for anybody who'd like to combine two fantastic Asian destinations, this tour's been incredibly popular since we launched it, where you get to see the main sites on Japan that I've already talked through, plus also the top sites in China. So Beijing, of course, for the Great Wall, the Summer Palace, Tiananmen Square, Xi'an for the Terracotta Warriors, Guilin, where you'll cruise along the Lai River, see the cormorant fishermen, Yangzhou, the farming community, so you're getting real rural China there before the amazing modern city of Shanghai. So our Go Beyond tours, like I say, we've got two, Sapporo and the Snow Monkeys, which takes place in February. And then we have our Offbeat Japan. And really these smaller group sizes, but it's more about seeing the sites rarely witnessed as well as all of the major sites. To get off the beaten track a little bit more, there can be some hiking involved, a little bit more physical activity as well. And if there's anybody listening who happens to be a member of a group, a social group, a sports group, whatever it may be, then we are more than happy, along with Baldwin's Travel, to put a group together for you. So we can do it on an existing tour, for example, or we can tweak a tour and completely tailor make a tour for you. As long as you can have 10 people or more, and if you've got a particular interest, then we may be able to incorporate that, for example. So please, if you are a member of any groups or you know of any groups, get in touch with Baldwin's, tell them about this presentation and what we've said. They'll be fully aware, and then, you know, we can see what we can do for you. But it is our guides that make the real difference on our tours. They go through a very, very extensive training process. We constantly monitor their progress. They are incredibly passionate, incredibly knowledgeable, and the feedback we get from our clients about our guides is absolutely incredible. People keep in touch with them for many, many years after they've actually traveled. So let's just go through our offers, and you can get all the full details from Baldwin's Travel, as I said previously. But we have our current deposit level, which we've reduced to £99 per person. And this is part of our flexible booking guarantee. So you won't have to pay your deposit until 6 weeks before departure. And also, if you do need to change your date at any point in time, then we'll allow you to do that at least once, free of charge. So there really, really is no reason to not book, and we are on sale right up until the end of 2022. And people are booking a lot of 2022 currently. We have, with Finnair, a free one-way business class upgrade offer. You can upgrade to have that both ways, but it's one way is free, and that's on your return flight back from Japan to the UK. If you fly with British Airways, then we have a free return premium economy upgrade. That's also available on tours to India. But the real big value for money is the free flights to Japan offer. So this is on all of our 2021 and 2022 tours, including cherry blossom dates. There's a couple of minor dates where you can't go, but other than that, it's pretty much all of the time in both of those departure years. The offer finishes the end of this week, so 31st of October. So you'll save up to £800 per person. That is an incredible saving. So it's never been a better time to book with Baldwin's Travel and also Wendy Wu Tours for your next big adventure. Here are the Baldwin's Travel branches. Of course, I'm sure you're aware of what your closest branch is. Please do get in contact with them. And if you've got any feedback on this particular presentation, that would also be greatly appreciated. Again, feed it back to your local branch, but please do pick up the phone or go and see them, make an inquiry, and hopefully you'll be traveling off to Japan with us both soon. So all that remains for me to say now is sayonara. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and I hope you do end up traveling with us. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.